Welcome to the Actually I Can Female Entrepreneur podcast. I am your host, Kaylee Greenacre, a business strategist, coach, TEDx speaker, author, and your go-to woman for all things business strategy. I am obsessed with supporting female entrepreneurs to grow unstoppable six and multi-six-figure businesses that they love, giving them the freedom and life that they desire. During this podcast, I'll be sharing with you everything that you need to become a successful female entrepreneur, from the mindset shifts to sales and marketing strategies and how to become an iconic leader that people can't get enough of. It is my mission to help you stand out, attract your dream clients and customers, and sell out of your offers with ease whilst building the business and life of your dreams. Let's make this your reality, ladies. Hello, ladies, and welcome to another episode of Actually I Can, the Female Entrepreneur podcast. And I'm joined today by the fabulous Hollie Griffiths, who is an OBM and Kajabi systems expert. And in today's episode, we are going to be diving into the invisible growth strategy, why systems are the secret to scaling your business. Hollie, it is such a pleasure to welcome you onto the podcast.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me here. I am super excited to talk all things systems and processes and business and scaling and all the wonderful, wonderful things in our online space.
Thank you so much. And I think it'll be really good to start the episode by sharing with the audience a little bit about your background and about your journey, if you're happy to do so.
Of course. So my journey started back. I am actually trained in production management and I worked in high-end TV and film for about 7 years, and it is a wonderful, wonderful world. I've worked for Disney, Sky, the BBC on huge multi-million-dollar productions, which is an incredible experience. But it does take its toll. It is 6 days a week, 16-hour days, and it's wonderful. You know, I worked in the locations department where we were literally operating and managing the whole production, where they're moving to, you know, how do you move 300 extras and you know, cast, and they need trailers and they need facilities and all the wonderful things. But I got to a point where I was like, okay, we need some more time and space and freedom in life, like most of us do. And I actually set up my business as a VA as a side hustle. And that just grew and grew. And actually I found I was doing a lot of OBM work for my clients and not charging for it. So very much pivoted and really owned that space as an OBM and systems, and I love it. I love it. It is absolutely where I thrive, managing multiple different launches and clients and processes. And I've had the wonderful opportunity to work with incredible clients in lots of different niches and backgrounds. So yeah, very, very fortunate to be where I am.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you so much for giving your background. It's such an interesting background as well. It's really interesting. And obviously bringing all of your skills and expertise. And I know that you support and help so many fabulous entrepreneurs to kind of really build out the most incredible systems and, you know, and processes, and just make sure that operations completely the best that they can be. So I'm really excited to dive into this topic with you today. So let's talk about kind of growing a business. Why, you know, so many entrepreneurs, I think, believe that they need, you know, more clients, more marketing to grow their business, which, to be fair, yes, they do.
Yeah.
But systems is a huge part of that, and it really does support with the growth of a business. So why do we think that systems is quite often either the missing piece in people's business, or something that people should really focus on perfecting and getting right to grow their business?
Absolutely. So I think you're completely spot on, right? It is an ecosystem. Our whole business is an ecosystem of our marketing, our sales, our clients, our systems, and they really do work together. And that is where I work with clients to have systems and processes that support their business growth. So it's very much about, it depends what you're growing, right? And what you want. And if you're looking to scale, which is what most of us do on the online space, right? We come in, we dabble, and we're like, how do we scale this thing? How do we make more money? And it's looking at it in a way that you as a business owner can hold it and not be overwhelmed by it and not feel that you're drowning in your business. And systems really do support you in that. And it's the difference being able to take on, you know, say, you know, 2-3 one-to-one clients a day, because your whole process is manual and you've got to draft emails and contracts and manually give access, to taking on 50 one-to-one clients a day, because the process has been mapped out, it's been thought about. It's like, okay, what does this look like for our clients? How do we elevate it for our clients? How do we make it? And this is something I really focus on with my clients, is how do we make it a phenomenal experience for our clients, but also for you as a business owner, right? Because that is so important to enjoy the business that we are running. And how do we go like, yes, I want to take that many people into my space and it not mean that I'm up at 11 o'clock drafting contracts and giving people access to things. So I think it's really about systems really come into play when it comes into like wanting your freedom, when it comes into consistency, when it comes into growth, when it comes into the experience that you and your clients are having within your business. And what I would say with that is, like I said, it's all an ecosystem, isn't it? So your marketing, there will be systems within your marketing, there will be systems within your sales. There are so many different aspects in your business that you can implement to essentially elevate all of those areas so it works as a beautiful flowing ecosystem together.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, I think through my own experience as well, building systems and processes in my business has been one of the best decisions because, I mean, especially as we're recording this episode, we're about to start summer holidays. And for my listeners, they know that I'm a mum and I absolutely enjoy taking 6 weeks
Mhm.
of the summer to spend time with my family and especially with my daughter. And without my systems, without my
Yeah,
processes, without having SOPs in place, without having my team knowing what they're doing as well, like
yeah,
it wouldn't run. I would
yeah,
be having to work every single day. And about 5 years ago, I was having to work every single day during the summer because I
yeah,
didn't have them in place. So it's so important and can really help so many businesses in terms of, again, strategically growing, but also supporting the clients as well as the founder as well,
yeah.
which
It's
is
so
great.
important.
And I feel like this links to being like a bottleneck, doesn't it? Because I think so many founders can become a bottleneck in their business.
Yeah.
What does this actually mean? What does it look like? Why
Hmm.
does this happen? Can we kind of shed some light on this a little bit? Because I think this phrase is used quite a lot, but do people really understand it and how to actually get out of that situation?
Yeah, 100%. So I would say, and I love this, I think you're right. The phrase is thrown around so much, you're you're a bottleneck, but what does that actually mean and look like in a business? And to be honest with you, it looks different for everyone, right? Because our time we can give, our capacity, how we want to grow our business, what we're growing our business to is very different. I would say when you are becoming the bottleneck, that is when you are building a business that is dependent on you. So the minute you start, the business stops, right? There's no functioning. There's no, like you've just said, Kaylee, there's no taking 6 weeks off and podcasts still go out and clients still get served. That's when you're a bottleneck because your business can't move without you. So I guess, and that's such a good question. Like, how do we see that? Like, how do we identify that? And to be honest with you, most people are in it before they see it.
Yeah,
That's just the way
definitely.
it is, isn't it? We get in it and we're like, oh, right, this isn't what I planned.
No.
But I would say it is really about this is where taking time once a month, once a week, whatever you can allocate to that. And it has to be a non-negotiable to like sit in your business and go like, okay, what's working, what's not? Are things moving without me? Can they move without me? How do I use my team better? Do I need to hire to help me to do that? Is there a system I can implement? Is there, oh, this task I do doesn't need my brain and my expertise. I'll create an SOP, a standing operating procedure within my business. And we live in the wonderful world of tech now, and we have Loom, and you can just record it as you do it and sort of give your nuances and preferences. It's about really looking at your business strategically and asking those questions, right? And I appreciate the letting go is not always as easy as we think, right? Because we have those thoughts and feelings of, no one else can do it like me. No one's going to love my business like I do. No one's going to have the attention to detail. And that is very much like a mindset thing to work through. But if you're feeling stretchy in your business and you're feeling overwhelmed and you're working every day, that is a sign of like, okay, we need to review and then we need to make some changes, right? And what I would say is slow and steady. I think some people go like, well, I'll do this and I'll do that and I'll do that. And then it's almost like a mess within your head then because you're like, I've changed so much, I don't know what is happening. So start small, whether that's hiring a team member, setting up a system, you know, introducing some automations and build upon that.
Yeah, absolutely. And what stage do you think that people should start doing that? Because like you said, I think so many people find themselves in it. I definitely did
Yeah.
before acting on it.
Yeah.
And even like I remember even being given advice on this, and I was like, no, I like to do everything myself. I like to,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
it's just madness when you look back at it and you think, really? But
Yeah.
I was a little bit of a control freak, a little bit of a I
We
need
all
to know
are.
that
We
this
all
is.
are.
But is there a stage that you would recommend to founders and entrepreneurs
Yeah.
to stop trying to do it and actually to start to implement simple systems to start
Yeah.
with?
So I would say, again, it very much depends on you as a person and, how your brain works, how you like to operate, how you like to execute. I have had clients come to me with no team in place. They've just started their business and they're like, I have no idea where to start. Help me. What do I do? And I've had clients come to me that they're like 5 year in business. They've got a VA, maybe like a graphics, and they're like, I need someone to run my team now. So I don't think there is a right or wrong hard answer because I think it very much depends on you and a person and what you need to support you. Like that's really key. I would say if I had to on average say like this is a good space to get support, it's when you're really looking to like, okay, how do I up level my business, right? Because as you've just said, you need to start building a team. You need systems and processes because let's be really clear, you can absolutely scale a business without systems and processes and team, but I can guarantee you it will be messy, it will feel stressful, it will feel bloody hard, and you will be working every day. So that's when as like a CEO, you have to make the choice of like, how am I going to scale this business? And when you're really looking at your business strategically to grow it and you still want a life because that's super important, right? That's a really good time to start thinking about, okay, let's implement.
So based on that then, so say for example, they start implementing these and again, like you said, depending on the business, depending on the type of business, the size of the business, all of these things, really, really important. Once they kind of implement this,
Mm,
we've touched on, I mean, I touched on it based on sort of saying about the summer and, we
yeah.
had a conversation there about it. But how do having sort of really decent systems in place then really support with, the freedom for business owners, but not just that, but actually improving on the client experience as well. So we're looking at, like you said earlier, it's great for the founder, for us as business
Yeah.
owners, because it creates more freedom, but actually it's really good for the client experience as well.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's with when you're growing that business and when you are looking at systems and process and like say the freedom to take the summer off and make it operate without you, it's it's thinking of it as a whole, right? So you have to think about your clients when you're building those systems and you have to go like, okay, well, I'm going to take 6 weeks off for the summer. Do I want everything to stop and I have to say to them, I'm not around for the summer or I've got light touch for the summer? Or are you saying, no, I'm just going to work every evening in the summer, right? So you have to make those decisions as a business owner of what that looks like. Now, I can guarantee you with your clients, they would absolutely prefer to still have a system and a process that you've set up in the background, which means they can still access hubs or softwares or resources or say a lot of people will bring in external coaches over the summer to still run classes or they'll do masterclasses or guest speakers so that they can still operate. And this is where a team and systems really come into play. Like you've just said, Kaylee, I have got a lot of clients who we are batch recording podcasts right now because the summer is
Yes.
coming and they want to be off, and we still are going to be consistent and put them out every week. So things like that, there is planning involved of going, okay, well, how do we hold this, right? When we're building and we want to take that time and space off. And I'm going to be completely transparent, right? There is upfront time and commitment because someone has to go, okay, well, what does it look like? How do we want the experience to feel? What do I want it to look like? What can I commit from it? So there is a period up front of building and being like, this is the system, this is the implementation. That's just how it is, right? That's life. But once you've done it and it runs and it's this monthly thing or this weekly thing that you do, that's when it's great, right? Team members can handle it. You have to, one of the biggest key things here as well, I find with teams is you have to empower your team, right? You have to
Yeah.
train your team. You have to share your vision and your goal with the team. they are so important in this process of scaling a business. Like you just said, Kaylee, like you used to do it all yourself and someone was like, gave you advice and you were like, no, I can do it myself. Like you need the team and you need a team that shares your vision. And that is so important. Like there is no gatekeeping of information when you bring in team. Like let them know where you're going, the goals, so that, when you get that email in from a client and you are on a beach in Spain enjoying the beautiful sunshine, your team member can pick it up because they have the knowledge, they know your vision, they know your goal, and you're not sitting there going like, oh, only I can reply to this. So empower your team as well is super, super important when it comes to being able to have that freedom and that time.
Yeah, and even when I call it life is lifing. Even
Life
when
is
life is
life.
lifing, and maybe situations come up or happen, whatever they look like. So yes, you've got the holiday side of things and the break, but you've also got things that potentially might happen. And then the worst thing ever, I've experienced this before, the worst thing ever is to then think, oh my God, I still need to show up and post. I still need to answer.
Yeah.
You're not in the right headspace for
Yeah.
X, Y, and Z reasons, right? Especially if life is lifing and things are happening.
Yeah.
And I think it's a really, really good thing to really have everything set up. And like you said, empower the team, or create and build your best team that really
Yeah.
do, like you said, understand the vision and can really support you. Understand the assignment, of course. So it's really good. It's good when you have that, and it feels so much better because then you can switch off when you need to or switch off when you want to. Which is absolutely right. What would you say then? So you've obviously worked with some incredible entrepreneurs, but from whether you've worked with them or people that potentially you haven't worked with, you've just seen it because you've observed it or analyzed it. What would you say are the biggest operational mistakes that you see entrepreneurs in the online space making?
It's such a good question. So operationally, I think there's a couple of things, right? Because then I think what's really important to note here is that your operations, I think some people think systems and ops and they just think tech, like I need tech in my business. And this is not, this is your team. This is how you run your clients. This is your tech as well. This is your mindset though. Like the operations is such a big thing. When it comes to mistakes I see and very much in like you say, like I can see it online and I can analyze it. And I think what I would say is there's a few things. I think mindset is a massive one operationally. I think, like we said, people going, I have to do this
Yeah.
when you don't, right? So what I would always say, and I think people can position it in a negative way, and it's not. I always use this example, right? Like none of us set up, well, unless you're a graphic designer or you specialize in Canva, but most of us, if you're a business coach, a service provider, a fitness coach, you didn't set up your business to spend 5 hours a week on Canva, right? But someone did. Someone does that. Someone is an expert in it. So operationally, I think not being able to identify what is actually your zone of genius and going like, oh no, this is where I am. Canva, someone is phenomenal at that and better at it than me. And that is a great thing, right? That someone can do it better than you. Like how wonderful that you can build such a team full of like A players. So I would say mindset and being able to identify what you actually need to do in your business. And the other thing I would say is action. So I think that maybe this is mindset as well. I think again, action around I want to launch this thing and actually getting it launched, right? And this is where an OBM is great because I'll be there being like, great, let's launch it. I need this. Let's do this. I'm going to build this. So the movement, operationally, I think if we're going to talk about like tech, I think the overwhelm of tech, we have this habit of going, oh, there's this new shiny thing. I need that. And then before we know it, we've got like subscription after subscription after subscription. And
Yeah.
there's so much evolving that there ends up being loads of crossover, right? And you end up spending all this money and then you're like, oh, I can't really remember if I use that, or you've got Zapier set up for Zaps that you don't even use anymore, but you're paying 20 quid a month for. That's a
Yeah.
massive one. And I would say the other big one I see is clients have nowhere to hold their team. So
Right.
when you run a business, I would say like where's your business held? Like where are the tasks that happen daily, weekly, monthly, where are the project tasks, right? And I get this is a growth thing. This is as you run your business, we get our type A and we get our type B people, and everyone's brains work differently. But when you are building and scaling, you have to have somewhere to hold your business, right? And that's like a project management tool and probably somewhere like Google that are connected, they talk to each other. So, you know, you can't manage it in a Google Doc. Like that is that is it. That's where things get missed. That's where they slip through the cracks. So yeah, I would say mindset, I would say tech is a mess usually. And I would say definitely having like a project management tool where you can hold your business and start small, right? Have like a list of ad hoc tasks that happen and have a list of reoccurring tasks. So the things that you or your team do daily, weekly, monthly, annually, you know, I literally have annual tasks in my business, but I don't have to remember them because my wonderful project management tool will tell me, or it will tell my team when to do these things. And again, that is a whole piece of like the operations that you don't have to think about, right? You don't have to ask. You don't have to say, hey, have you done this? Because you can just click on it and go, oh, it got done today. Great. You know? So they would say are the key things operationally. Yeah, hopefully that answers the question.
No, this is good. This is good.
I
Really
could go
good.
on forever.
There's so much gold.
I know.
And what about for those that are scaling? So say for example, you know, some of our listeners have got established businesses, they've got some systems and operations in place, and they're now looking to scale to,
Yep.
I mean, I don't always like using figures, but if we're going to say a figure, they're wanting to scale to, I don't know, 50K months or and
Yep.
beyond, maybe even up to 100K months, right? If we're looking at that kind of level where they're established, they're
Yep.
consistent, they're bringing in the sales, they've got the clients, but they want to get to that next level.
Yep.
When it comes to operations, I know it's going to depend on the individual and the business, but
Yeah.
is there anything specifically where they're really scaling to that next level that you would say this is like an absolute must? You need to have this in place.
Yeah, so a couple of things actually. So I would say, and I think this is really important to note for everyone, that a lot of the time online we have this really beautiful, polished, stunning front end, and the
Yes.
back end is a mess, right? Like that is very common, and I think that's so important to note because if you're watching this being like, well, the back of my business is a mess, like it's totally fine, you know? Um, I would say if you're really looking to scale, I actually would say you need to look at your offers. So that's where it starts, right? So if you are offering one-to-one and you're like, okay, do I want to scale one-to-one? How do I scale one-to-one, right? You have to like work backwards, right? Because if you want to make 100K months, but you can only hold 20 one-to-ones, well, you either need to charge a ton for it or you need to tweak the offer. So it actually starts at the point of offering. And although it's not like I would never say I'm like an offers expert, it's a lot that I talk through with my clients, right? Because we have to be realistic in what is achievable with the offers, the systems, the processes, what you want to offer your client, also what you want to deliver, right? Because that is so important, not just delivering things because you think it's going to bring in money, because it won't, because you won't show up for it in the way that you want to show up for it. And people feel that, right? People will feel that in those offers. So I would say it starts with reviewing your offers. So if you're like, I want to make 100K months, you need to look at your offers and then you need to look at your numbers. Okay, how many of XYZ do we need to sell to do that? Is that achievable? Do we need to make some tweaks? So it starts with offers. Then we
Yes.
look at the offers that we're landing on and we go, right, how do we optimize these offers in terms of operations? So what can we automate? What can we systemize? So, for example, I've got clients that sell high ticket one-to-one very well. Like that is where their audience are. So we know, okay, we are optimizing high ticket one-to-one. We need to make the experience premium.
Mhm.
Now, a lot of people fall into the trap of like, well, they need me, like they want to speak to me. They don't. We live in this world of like now quick automation. Like if they are going to spend 10 grand with you, they want access to a hub straight away. Like
Yes.
that is the crux of it, right? They don't want to wait 3 days until your VA's logged in and
Right.
giving them access. They want a welcome email. They want their onboarding email. They want to book their one-to-one. They want their client gift. Like that's how we work in this world that we live in. So if it's like high ticket, we need to look at how we really elevate that experience for our clients. Where can we automate that? Where can we systemize that so it's not you doing all the work? It needs to feel like a 10K investment, right? I've got clients where the low ticket works very well, and we're still scaling to those 100K months, but low ticket for them because that's where their audience are sells really well. So then we go, okay, how do we optimize that funnel, right? So we've got this low ticket product. Where can we offer order bumps, tripwires? Where can we retarget? Where can we resell into other courses and offers? So it's very much like big picture and then breaking down and working backwards and then looking at really where can we automate, where can we elevate our client experience. So a lot of that will come with that like onboarding piece. And onboarding is really, really important because it's like 50% of clients that have a great onboarding experience are they are more like 50% more likely to stay with you and they're 50% more likely to refer you. So onboarding, I can't stress how important it is. So really looking at those systems around onboarding your clients.
I absolutely can echo the onboarding side of things as well. I think based on when I even think about, the offers that I've bought into before, so when I've worked with mentors, etc., there have been some onboarding processes that have really stood out. And again, like you said, I want instant access because there and then I'm so excited. I want to get in and,
You've got to lean into that.
4 years ago, I was like buzzing to learn more and to be in the space and all of these things. So yeah, I've definitely seen some fantastic onboarding systems. Onboarding process as such. And yeah, I mean, that's definitely something that I've always tried to make sure I go above and beyond with that. Because again, for me, I always look at it as that client experience. And, it's so important. We want them to experience that best. You want to give them the best impression, first of all, but then you also want that to continue and to really rise above. So I definitely agree with you. And I think it's some great advice for those that are really scaling and wanting to make sure that they're giving it their best opportunity. Something that I want to dive into a little bit with you, Hollie, is delegation, because to be fair, this is one of my biggest weaknesses, right? I'm going to openly and honestly say that. I used to, in school, back before I did this business, I had a team of over 30 and I was the worst at delegation. I would literally just say like, oh no, I'll do it. I'll just do this. I'll just write this report. I will just, it's all data and GCSEs and A levels for the job that I did. And it was madness because it's just silly. It's just ridiculous. When I then started this business, obviously I started as a one-man band, and then I gradually, when I hit the realization that we talked about earlier, started to grow a team. And I've got a gorgeous team now who are absolutely amazing. And delegation, I do now do.
Yeah.
But I still find it a little bit hard, right?
Yeah.
When we talk about this, why can it feel really uncomfortable? I'll give myself as an example, but why can it feel really uncomfortable? And why do we need to learn to be able to delegate? Because I think it's such an important part of growing a team and scaling a business.
100%. I love this question. And there's so many elements to it, right? So many elements. What's really common is someone is in that bottleneck that we were talking about earlier, and they're like, I'll just hire a VA. Like a VA will sort out all my problems. And then they bring in a VA and it doesn't sort out all their problems. And a VA is like, hey, I'm here. What do you want to delegate? And you're a bit like, oh, I don't know, or I don't really trust this yet. So I'm not going to give you that piece of work. And they become a bit more of a burden, right? Or sometimes you'll take on a VA and they don't quite execute the work that you wanted them to do. Now, there's a couple of things there. Did you give them all the things that they need to be able to succeed in the best way possible? Did you share everything? Or is it just that like they oversold themselves? So there's a couple of elements. Some people feel like they've been burnt before. Other people really lean into that mindset of like, no one can do it like me. Now, when it comes to delegating, right, it feels stretchy and it feels uncomfortable and it's totally a mindset thing. And if that's the case, that is like lean in. It's a good thing that it feels uncomfortable and stretchy. I would say when it comes to delegating, before you delegate, you have to set yourself up for success and you have to hire a good team, right? Now, I mean, we've talked about this before, Kaylee. When I hire within my team, when I hire, I run 5 teams for my clients, I hire everyone within their teams. When I do that, we do our due diligence. Like we don't hire the first person we see, the cheapest person we see. We actually evaluate. We go, what are we looking for in our business? Right. What do we want this person to do? Are they coming in to do daily diary and email management? Is that their job? Are they coming in to do more like admin stuff? We need them to file things. We need them to create documents. We need them to format. What are they doing? get really clear on what you need them for, right? Because then when you start looking for people and you start advertising or doing reach out, you can match, right? They can go, yes, that's within my skill set. And you can go, great, they've got that on their website or wherever they advertise. So set yourself up for success with the hiring, right? Get really clear on what you want from them, what they need, set expectations, make sure they use the tech that you use. You know, there's nothing worse than being like bringing on that person and they're going like, oh, I've never used ClickUp in my life, or I've never touched this specific thing that you want me to use, because then you're training, right? So set yourself up for success. You need to hire the right person. You want to be hiring A players if you can, right? Then when you've got them and you're like, okay, we know exactly what they're going to do in our business, you need to make sure, again, you are setting them up for success. And this means SOPs. You need standard operating procedures. Now, I would say the easiest way to do this, and I really, it is easy. I have no other, I can't, there's nothing around it. It's so easy, the world we live in. You can literally hit record when you start doing it in your business. There's no extra time on Loom, and talk through it, right? As you're doing it, just say like, you know, you click up here and then you click this, and this is my nuance for this. And I want it done this way, and the spacing needs to be this big, and this is the color palette we use, right? Just talk through it. Talk through it. Answer any, you know, any questions that you think they might have, answer it in that video, right? And that becomes your bank of like how you run your business. So that when you bring on that team, you're like, hey, this is the video, follow it. Let me know if you have any questions, right? So it's really about setting your team up for success. It's about hiring the right people. It's about trusting, right? You have to learn to trust them and let go. You know, you are not the only person in your team that can do everything. You as a CEO in your business have to sit in that CEO space, right? So that does mean delegating, tinkering around on Canva, delegating your inbox, delegating formatting documents, delegating uploading videos to Kajabi. They can be delegated. So I know it's uncomfortable. I know it feels stretchy. And, you know, sadly, sometimes it doesn't work out. They're not the right fit, right? But you have to keep going. And I've told Kaylee about this before. We know someone who owns a restaurant. And I was talking to her a couple of months ago, and she said she went through 30 chefs to find the right one. And now she was like, it's phenomenal. He does everything I need, everything I want. The food we put out is incredible. But she kept going, right? Because you also have to ask your questions of, okay, did I do everything so that they could succeed? Like, you have to review, right? You can't just be like, nope, they're not the right fit, move on, hire. You have to go, why didn't it work out? Was it them? Was it you? Can you support them better? So lots of mindset, lots of reviewing, lots of trust. You have to trust. You have to delegate. You have to do those things to be enable them to win, so that like you can win as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's great advice. And I love that. I remember you sharing that with me, and a great story. And yeah, it really is, isn't it? It's again about being able to trust that this is a good move for you as an entrepreneur, and it will benefit you. And like you said, then finding the right team members before you then go and dedicate tasks to them. And there's so many ways that you can do this, but I think it's a really good advice that you've given there, to really make sure that people find the best team, their A players as such. Amazing.
100%. 100%.
So if a female entrepreneur is listening to this podcast and they want to build a business that really does give them freedom, right? Because freedom's the ultimate goal, right? Gives them more freedom, more impact, of course, more capacity to lead, because that's what we're here to do as well. We're here to lead. What would you say is your one main piece of advice to them that they should consider or make today?
Great question. So many things. When it comes to freedom in your business, I would say boundaries, right? And
Yes.
I would say being patient. I think we live in this world on the online space where everyone and their dog is posting, I made this month and I scaled this quickly, and I have this $11 offer that makes me 100K a month, and I do this, and I think that's really intimidating to see, and it puts this like pressure on you to be like, well, I need to be doing that, right? Like I need to be doing all those things. But everyone's situation is different. Everyone's life is different. Everyone's exposure is different. Like everything is different. So I would say, don't get caught up online. Things take time. Good things take time. They do. The refinement of your systems, your processes, your offer, nailing your clients who you're talking to. It does take time, right? And if it's a one-hit wonder, I can guarantee it's gonna like fizzle off, right? You want to be building sustainable things. And to do that, it takes time. So implement boundaries in your life, right? Say to like, I don't work Fridays, right? I work Monday to Thursday. I don't work Fridays. I will not pick up a client email. I do not look at it. We have boundaries if it's urgent. Fair enough, right? But what's urgent? We have very clear boundaries on what urgent is. But I don't work Friday. Like that is a day for me. If I want to go for coffee with my friends, I go for coffee. If I want to sit and work in like on my business and be like, okay, like what does my business look like? I have that time. So set boundaries for that freedom, because I can, the best way I can explain this is I used to work 5 days a week. And then when I was dabbling with the idea, I thought my mindset was, I'm going to lose clients. I'm going to lose revenue. I'm going to lose leads because I won't be doing as much. I made the change. Nothing changed. I kept all my clients. I kept all my revenue. And I had this whole day to myself. And I was like, this is incredible. Why did I not do this sooner? So set boundaries up for you so that you have time in your business. I can't stress enough how much like being in your business and just like feeling your business, or stepping away from your business if that's what you need, like that's important too. So if you're looking to scale your business, I would say set boundaries, and that is boundaries with you, boundaries with your team, boundaries with your systems, boundaries with your processes, boundaries with your clients. Boundaries is really important.
Yeah, that's a really good piece of advice, actually, because boundaries is. And again, I think it's something that quite often many people learn as they go through the entrepreneurial journey of how important they are. And because I think so many of us, especially in the early stages of business, we don't have those really strong boundaries because we're trying to please other people. I think that, again, I speak from experience.
Yeah, me too.
But it's so important. It really is. No, that's a great piece of advice. Okay, we're coming to the end of the episode, and I just want you to give us your final piece of advice today for our listeners around systems, operations, processes. What would that be?
I would say start small. Like, don't get overwhelmed. Don't think you have to implement, 100 different Zaps or all the different tools. Start small with the systems. I am a massive believer in simple systems. The more complex they get, the more space you open up for things to go wrong. Think simple. We are, as humans, our psychology, right? We love to be told what to do. We love the easy options. Too many options confuses us, right? So keep things simple. Like, set yourself up for success. When you're looking at your tech and your software, be really analytical and critical. Do we need these 5 different things? Or actually, does these 2 pieces cover it? Simple systems, start small would be my recommendations, and trust your team. Get an A team, get an A players, trust your team. Trust your team and simple systems.
Amazing. Hollie, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you here on the podcast today. I've really enjoyed our conversation. Where can our listeners find you and connect with you?
Absolutely. I live on Instagram. You'll find me on there. I am holliegriffiths.co, or you can head over to LinkedIn as well. I'll be there. But yeah, come over and see me.
Amazing. All of Hollie's links are in the show notes, so please do go and connect with her. She's amazing at what she does, and absolutely she will be able to share with you all of the incredible things about how to build the best systems, processes, and really lean into the operational side of your business as well. So thank you so much, Hollie. It's been such a pleasure having you here on the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thanks to everyone that's tuned into today's episode. Please don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast, and I'll see you all again next time.
Thank you for tuning in to the Actually I Can Female Entrepreneur podcast with me, your host, Kaylee Greenacre. If you are ready to build, grow, and scale your dream 6-figure or multi-6-figure business, then head to our website now for more information, or connect with me on socials to see how you can create your dream business and dream life.